Sister Nabila asked, are there stories in the Sira of how women treated other women? I find that women can often be harder on each other than men.
You're so right. You are so right. A lot of times we have internalized the same way that we can internalize Islamophobia, you can have internalized racism, you can definitely have internalized sexism. And, a lot of times when we find women who are being, more outspoken, we find women who are more out front. We do have women who feel like, oh no, you should be taking a different role. You should be quieter. You should be, and a lot of that is the way that women have been trained to behave, right? That we're taught that be nice, be a good girl, right? Be nice, be a good girl, be quiet. And so, all of us, society, this is not just something that's unique to Muslim women. This is something that is a challenge with women, is that we have a lot of work to do in terms of supporting each other, right? We have a lot of work to do in terms of elevating each other. However, I also find that we are a lot better at it. I find us getting a lot better. A lot of tropes that were actually said about women, and even as I was growing up, we are definitely outgrowing that as a society. Women are more and more empowering and bringing other women to the table. Again, bringing more women into into that sector, more and more women into the room. And so as a result, we're finding more and more women supporting each other. I would say that when we even look at examples, right, of even the wives of the companions, we actually do have them, find many stories of them definitely supporting each other and encouraging each other. Sometimes they would, have competition for good deeds, right? They would compete in terms of prayers or fasting or giving in charity. So we do see that again, a very healthy competition. But I mean, generally, I find when I think about that, one of the things that in Islam you find a lot of is gendered spaces. So inside of those gendered spaces where men are together, kind of talking about man things, or even focusing on their own spirituality development as men, you have that. That's actually one of the things that has been used to say that Islam was oppressive, because we support gendered spaces. But in reality, we know that gendered spaces are places where women oftentimes, or basically in both, feel more comfortable, more free to talk about things or to ask questions, especially in an educational setting that they may not feel comfortable asking in a mixed setting. It also becomes a space where women feel more empowered to just be themselves, as opposed to they need to behave a particular way inside of mixed spaces. So there are a lot of ways I could say, especially throughout the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam during his time, that we found that women are supporting each other. There are cases where Aisha are leading other women in prayer. We know that women actually would be the ones who would come together and build the mobile medical clinics, that women were like, okay, this is what we're going to do, right? This is how we would come together. And so I think in a lot of different sectors you find sisterhood, but it's definitely something that we have to bring more and more to the forefront.
Jazakumullah khairan, Shaykha Ieasha. I also see, I think in my own personal experiences just growing up, when motherhood, there's someone who
Oh
becomes a
yes,
mother in a community, and all the women get together in support when there is that community. I think
yes,
that is the moment when I feel like women like really lift each other up, and men can never do that. I don't
yes.
think
To be honest, that is
yeah.
definitely a time. I mean, I think about even historically, like when women get sick, especially in other countries. If a woman gets
Mhm.
sick, I mean, having a baby is like the epitome example.
Yes.
But a lot of times you find women get sick and they will put them like on a food rotation, right? People will bring
Yes.
so much food to your house. You definitely find women who will help take care of your children. I will say in traditional societies, you find a lot of support of women, and like in family structures, those who live in extended family, where wives of a family actually support each other in household responsibilities or in chores. Or if you're going to school, I'm going to take care of this, I'll help with your children. So you do find a lot of that inside of the nuclear family structure in America. We struggle from rugged individualism, so it becomes more difficult to witness except inside of community settings.
And I also think it also goes in hand too in terms of self-reflection, right? Like, do I love for my sister what I would love for myself? So it's like when they
Mhm.
succeed, like, you go, girl, you're amazing.
Yeah.
And your happiness is my happiness. And to kind of like embody that every day. I think us sisters trying to do that as a conscious effort over time, it becomes more natural.
Yes.
So that's
But
also.
you're reminding me of things like weddings. I think about when it comes to weddings, right? Of course,
Mhm.
sisters come together, friends, family members, they come together, for the bride in a lot of different ways in her preparation and, of course, advice. I mean, we have to even look at, when like a culture of like baby showers or bridal showers, this is something of women. This is how women come together and say, let me support you, as a woman. And we find that actually even within the sunnah of the prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that when someone was getting married, there would be women who would come, right, and give advice
Mhm.
and would help prepare and dress that woman. When I think about, for example, even in the case of Sauda and how she, took care of Fatima, right, and how, when the prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was going through a rough time, how she came in and helped, right, take care of Fatima, as well as some of the other women in the community, who were friends of the prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who kind of rallied around this young woman. So we, once her mother had passed away. So I find that we do have examples of it in different facets, right, in different facets.